Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the North Node intercepted in a natal horoscope. As most of you know, an interception occurs when you have all 30 degrees of a sign enclosed inside a house cusp. And when you have an interception, it often suppresses and obstructs the energy that is associated with that sign, or it might include a planet if a planet is in that particular house, and that energy could be held back to some degree as well. And anyway, I'm going to talk about the North Node intercepted. And North Node, a lot of you know, is connected with our soul's mission purpose, and it's like our destiny and what we want fulfillment on. And if you have the North Node intercepted, it could indicate maybe perhaps a little bit more confusion and ambivalence as far as tapping in to what our purpose might be, or what the purpose may be. I have the North Node intercepted in my horoscope, so I can empathize with those of you that have it as well. And tapping into the North Node can be an arduous task as it is, and because we're attempting to break away, though not completely eradicating, the influence of the South Node, merely blending it in at least a little bit with the North Node, it's hard enough to grasp the North Node a lot of times and incorporate it into our lives. But when you have it intercepted, obviously it's suppressing the energy often, and that makes it a little bit more difficult, even as opposed to it not being intercepted. Now, at the same time, through progression in someone's natal chart, it could alleviate some of the adverse maybe effects of the North Node interceptor, or at least give the capability of dealing with it a little bit better, but not eradicating any negative adverse effects of the North Node completely. But it will be a little bit more where you're able to cope with it. So the thing basically is that it does make it a little bit more difficult on average for people that do have that interception to a lot of times to find that purpose, that their mission, that is what their particular calling might be. And the North Node not intercepted, a lot of times it's around the second half of the life, maybe after age 30, when people begin to see and emphasize or accentuate the North Node. But with the interception, it's possible it might be a little bit longer, perhaps, of a wait, or it could just indicate that the person may still find what they want and what their mission is in that second half of life, but it's a little bit harder perhaps to access as opposed to it, or there might be a little bit more work involved to make that come to fruition as opposed to it not being intercepted. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Now let's say somebody has the North Node in Taurus in the 6th house. Now this could be somebody that's striving to seek stability and persistence in their employment and health-related matters, emphasizing perhaps a regimented daily routine and schedule, and working laboriously at their job is something that they may strive to do in that latter part of their life. Now, peace and tranquility in the person's work life with the interception is something that with the interception, this would be something that they're searching for, but it's not as easily attainable. It doesn't mean it's out of reach completely, but at the same time, because that energy is suppressed, it's not easier, it's a little bit harder to get that particular energy and to be able to do those things that are associated with the North Node sign and the North Node house placement. Now, another example, this is what I have, the North Node in Pisces in the 11th house intercepted. Now, the person, someone that has this, can be very insightful, compassionate, in connection with friends, which is the 11th house, esoteric subjects, which could include astrology, and perhaps humanitarian work even. Now, the person may be willing to be a little bit, I don't want to say necessarily lackadaisical, but maybe have a little bit more calmer, relaxed attitude in the company of acquaintances and friends, and not be quite as perhaps nervous, which would be indicated by the South Node in Virgo. And perhaps they might use their own healing qualities in association with their goals and aspirations. Now, these things such as the healing qualities may still be there, but they may be a little bit more suppressed or a little bit harder to actually be able to utilize. And the person that has this, like me for example, maybe had to wait a little bit longer to really tap into this. I think I show quote-unquote healing qualities, at least helping others in terms of doing these astrology videos, and have them have a better understanding and conception of their chart. And if they see the positives and the negatives, the positives allow them to accentuate those, and the negatives are things that perhaps these people can work on in order perhaps to rectify them and to perhaps make improvement in that particular area of life, or that thing that I'm talking about that might be negative, whether it's connected with, whether it's an aspect or house placement or sign placement or what have you. So chart rulers or house rulers. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the North Node intercepted in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about the South Node intercepted in a natal horoscope. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.